look at you, oh, I feel my heart, oh, I feel real love deep inside. Oh, love, not that I can't believe how you do to me, you make me feel all how you say.
Coming up on this week's podcast, Andrew takes us through his best 11.
My all-time favourite, Tom. Best player. There's only one reason for it, and the player, everyone will know this reason.
We chat to Sam.
Hi Tom, mate. Going to do a little chat about what's going on recently. Hope you're well. So it's all kind of taken off the last few weeks, isn't it? But yeah, I fancy having a chat about Pompey because what's going on. It's going to be very interesting to see what's going to happen towards the end of the season.
Ollie tells us his favourite Fournilwrittenalloverit moment.
My favourite Fournilwrittenalloverit moment. So many. When we found out Alexander was negative, that was an emotional day, really, for the whole family. You know, we always suspected it.
And another story from Andrew and his time following Pompey.
I opened my wallet to get my credit card out, and inside my wallet, as you well know, is my season ticket sticking out like that. And so I got my wallet out, went to pay for it, and this guy goes, "Are you a Pompey fan?" I went,
in the middle of Southampton Airport.
And I'm thinking, 1 a.m. in the morning, I don't need you to give me a load of verbal.
Good afternoon, Andrew.
Yes, good afternoon, Tom. What a beautiful Easter weekend we see out there today, don't we?
Lovely.
We can only see out there, of course,
yes,
Tom.
we do. Yes,
in these unprecedented circumstances.
Absolutely. Welcome back to the Fournilwrittenalloverit podcast, everyone. This is episode
3.
Number 3, and we've probably got a couple more weeks of these, haven't we? So.
I think we've probably got another season full of these, Tom.
Well, we'll have to wait and see, but we do have a very busy podcast in store for you today. We're also doing Andrew's best 11 today, aren't we?
We are. They're coming up, Tom, later.
Looking forward to that, and you've got a story to tell us. Have you decided?
I've got several, Tom, but I'm going to make them short because people complain about how long they are.
No, they didn't.
No, people enjoyed them.
People really enjoyed them.
They've got nothing else to do, have they?
Absolutely. So we've got loads to chat about. The first thing I want to say is, as we're recording this, the news is just breaking. You won't have heard this yet, but the EFL have told the press or told the nation that they believe they can complete the season in 56 days. Your immediate thoughts on that?
Pompey Jesus, that is cramming it in, but I'm sure if they say they can, Tom, they probably can.
56 days is exactly 8 weeks.
That needs to be done then soon.
So if we get 56 days...
There'll be no pre-season, will there?
Well, there might not be, because we'd be wrapping up by now. This is one of the last weekends that we'd have if we were still where we were, if we were still on track, basically. It would be one of the last weekends that were... that we'd be heading off to Rotherham, wouldn't we?
If we had a crystal ball, that would be amazing to see where we might have been. Think about that, where we might have been on Easter Friday.
We'd be in Rotherham. Oh, like points-wise?
Yeah, no, we'd be in Rotherham, but points-wise, what would that be like? I wonder. Nobody could have preempted this, could they? And here we are, look, we're now thinking that actually Easter Friday, we could have been promoted by now.
Well, I think you might be a little bit ahead of your stations there.
Well, it might have been, but it could be, couldn't it? It could be, or at least in the playoffs by now, couldn't we? Secured.
We could have booked our place in the playoffs, couldn't we?
That's what I was thinking.
Did you see the Players Together hashtag statement that was released?
Yeah, I did. Yeah, interesting, Tom.
So there was a lot of speculation. We released the last podcast last Saturday. Since then, there's been quite a lot in the week. Gary Neville thinks that the players have now spoken, given the slack that maybe people as high up as Matt Hancock were giving them on the fact that their wages should have been donated somehow towards the NHS. They have, as a group of Premier League players, set up this brand new group. They've had numerous talks with a contribution fund that they're going to distribute across all areas that need it, basically.
People can see that in the press, can't they?
They can, but I just wanted to get your thoughts on it.
Tom, I said last week, didn't I, Tom? It's not all about just Premiership footballers or any footballers on sensible money, is it? They've got a short-term career. They're only earning that money for a short period, aren't they? You could argue it's big money, but other people, as I mentioned before, are earning big money. Are Tesco, Sainsbury's, Morrison's, are they giving 20%, 30% of their money to the NHS when they've actually had bumper months? You know, bankers, people are taking big credits out of the banks at the present time for lending people money. You know, mate, it goes on, doesn't it? So I don't think we can finger just the players, but if they're standing up and doing their bit, then fair comment, right? So we just move on from the political situation and get on to the football.
Sorry, let's get on to the football. Just one more, it's not really political, but the figures of coronavirus deaths in this country, sadly, they've doubled and some since we last spoke. Last week we were on 3,600. Well, now we're more than 7,000, aren't we? I'm not quite sure what today's figure was, but it's probably up there in that region. So you keep saying stay at home, but this is getting really, really scary now, isn't it? And it's been coming. We've seen it.
It's not scary, Tom, because we're pretty much everyone's getting immune to it and used to it, aren't they? I don't mean immune to COVID-19. I mean immune to the news every day. We're all used to it now. It's almost like a terrorist attack, isn't it? You get used to them, don't you? And this is the thing. We're all getting used to staying at home.
Something we should be getting used to.
I think we have to. Life is going to change for everyone, for a lot of people, including us, for a long, long time, Tom. And we all got to get used to that. So what we should take out of this is a lesson, life's lesson, to say actually don't take anything for granted and enjoy every moment you have of freedom that this country allows us to have. You know, this is a democracy. We live in a free country. We get all the benefits of living in this great country of ours. And I think this really
tremendous nation.
And right there, you're talking about tremendous.
Really feels like a suppressed country where we're being told what to do, almost like a communist regime, isn't it?
But rightfully so.
I know it rightfully low, but that would be. That's what I'm saying. Let's take advantage of the fact we have all learned a lesson, haven't we? And let's enjoy each other's company, enjoy each other, enjoy life that life's got to offer us. You know, all the benefits we get from being a free country, Tom.
It is now time to cut to Sam. Sam's going to give us a little bit of insight as much as he can.
He knows a lot about football.
He knows his stuff, probably more than you do. Much more.
He knows a lot more than me, mate. I'm just a bystander.
You're just a bystander. Yeah. You're just the man with the glasses. So, Sam, what have you got for us, mate? It's all yours.
Hi, Tom, mate. We're going to do a little chat about what's going on recently. Hope you're well. So it's all kind of taken off the last few weeks, isn't it? But yeah, I fancy having a chat about Pompey because what's going on is going to be very interesting to see what's going to happen towards the end of the season. Obviously, no football at the moment, and we're all sat here. It's nice weather, but it'd be nice to have a date when you know it's all going to come back and we can get stuck into it. Obviously, they're talking about middle of May, maybe going back to training, and then looking to start the fixtures and play them all in a really quick period of time. Which, when you look at Pompey's situation, you know, it's all up in the air. You know, what could happen if the season starts and it's just 3 games a week for 4 weeks. It's going to be a bit mental. So it'll be interesting to see what they do. But we'll talk about a few issues that have kind of popped up from this whole coronavirus pandemic and what the impact could be on football and what Pompey in particular. So obviously the first one would be if football does come back, it's very unlikely fans will be allowed in grounds. Which I'm sure we'll be able to watch it all on TV, but it's an interesting one because it works two ways for Pompey, in my opinion. When you look at the home games, it's going to be a real what's the word? It's not going to benefit Pompey at home, definitely, because at home the fans get behind them and make it a very tough place to go. And you know, with no fans, it's a bit of a leveller. And I personally can't see fans going back into stadiums till next season now. So it will be interesting to see what happens regarding that. But then when you look at our away form, it's been pretty dire the whole season. So the other side of the argument would be, you know, if there's no away fans, you know, all the games should be relatively even, and it should be mainly based on the quality of the squad that wins it, and not necessarily a team having a bad day, fans getting on their backs. So that would be an interesting kind of aspect of the season if it does come back, and one that we should definitely look out for. So obviously Pompey at the moment, we sit in the playoffs, which, you know, it's not ideal considering the situation. Would be great if we're in the top two at the moment, because if the league, say, did get ended, you get promoted, etc. Playoffs, you know, it's a bit up in the air what they're going to do about them. But when you look at the possible solutions, maybe having one game at home and then Wembley, that would help Pompey, because over 2 games it means we have to go away from home and get a result. And is that necessarily going to happen? I'm not too sure. So the playoffs this season will be key. Well, it'll be interesting to see what they do in regards to that. Another thing to look at, obviously, the question of avoiding leagues has gone around with Liverpool. 25 points clear in the Premier League. You know, it'd be disastrous if they avoided the league. You know, but it's a possibility. But for Pompey's position, surely at the moment we should have taken advantage of this league, and I think every Pompey fan knows that, 'cause it's not that good this year. The squad we've got, we should be at least in the top two, if not going for the title, along with Sunderland and these bigger clubs in the league, Ipswich as well. I think if the league, would I want it to get voided? I'm not too sure, but for Pompey anyway, it would be probably a better scenario for it to be voided, and we start again next season. Coventry cannot be as strong as they are this season with all the financial implications the virus is going to have on their club and the situation they were in as it was anyway. So Coventry, they're not going to be the same side. Sunderland, we'll watch Sunderland till I die. The amount of money they're losing on a weekly basis. Pompey have come out last week and we made £2 million profit this year, and we've still got a lot of that money that Michael Arnster put in the club still to spend. If we started the league next season, Pompey should, with the same teams, Pompey should really take advantage of it, because they haven't taken the opportunity this year. And when you look at teams that are going to come down from the Championship potentially, Wigan, Barnsley, Luton, all these sides would be a very tough test next year for us to get promoted. So with the financial position Pompey are in this season, coming out of the virus, Mark Catlin is an extremely good chief executive, one of the best in the division, knows exactly what he's doing, and Pompey will be in a good position to kind of go ahead and move on in a positive manner after this virus. So when you look at other clubs, I can't see that happening for your Coventry's, your Sunderland's, who else we got in around us? Oxford's, these slightly smaller sides. So, right. So moving on. When should the football come back? There's been rumours about returning to May, in middle of May, 15th, and then trying to get all the games crammed into one 2 month period around that. Pompey can end up playing around 12 games in that 2 month period, which isn't too bad when you look at the kind of fixtures we've had and the break before. Obviously there's a few issues of contracts. Christian Burgess, Lee Brown, Hamstruck, all players out of contract at the end of the season. So again, these are all issues that all up in the air at the moment, and no one really knows what's going on about them. But for me, the one player there I'd probably make sure more than any that Pompey need to tie down is Burgess, because if Pompey end up having to play a playoff game towards the end of the season and Burgess is out of contract and not actually a player for the club anymore, that's a massive problem when we look at the issues we've had at centre half this year. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed my little catch up, Tom. It'd be good to kind of maybe get on your podcast soon if you're going to do one of them. But yeah, play up Pompey.
Thanks for that, mate. We're going to take a trip down memory lane now into a bit of Pompey history, because this
bit of love.
This week that we've kind of been through now, we're at the end of this week. It's the week where all the On This Days come out, and it gets a year longer every single year, obviously. Yeah. We're going to wish a very happy birthday to Pompey, who turned 122 on the 5th of April.
Yes.
So big happy birthday.
We looked back at a bit of the history, didn't we, and had a bit of a giggle about some of those things.
Yeah. We had a look at all the old pictures, and you showed me them before.
People should go back and look at it. It's very interesting, Tom.
But that 5th of April is the same day as two very prominent FA Cup semi-finals in Pompey fan memory, in living memory. Yeah. The one against West Brom in 2008,
yes,
and Liverpool in 1998, separated by a long time, obviously, and it's been a long time since they've happened.
Can we show that goal, the Liverpool?
We can show. We'll put Darren Anderton over we'll put it next to us so you can see it.
Yeah, Darren.
But I wanted to ask you, which one's your favourite? Was it Anderton in 1998 or Carnu in 2008? Carnu's, I think, was a little bit more straightforward. It was a Ben Close Blackpool tap-in, wasn't it?
I was between the two. Darren Anderton, for sure. Darren Anderton, definitely. Watch this clip.
Why Darren Anderton?
Look at the atmosphere. Look at the feeling we had that day at Highbury. Fantastic day out. And then the replay at Villa Park, which we sadly lost on penalties. But that's another story. That's because we couldn't shoot straight. Seriously,
can you?
I think we had 5 penalties, and I think 3 of them hit the corner flag. Seriously, you ask any Pompey fan that was there that night, it was diabolical. He's whacked them wide. I don't know why. It was. Look back at that.
You got any kind of reason you can think of why they don't do semi-finals at Wembley now and not at neutral grounds, and why they don't have neutral fans in there?
I think because, Tom, it's about money, isn't it? It's about revenue, more money, and the FA milk as much as they can out of it, and that's what they do. It's a business at the end of the day, and it's about revenue and cash. Clubs get paid more money for having Wembley semi-finals. I don't agree with it, actually. I think a semi-final should be in a neutral ground like it used to be. It's much more fun going to a place like Villa Park or Hillsborough than it was one of the other places. That's got some history, isn't it? Villa Park, Highbury was the two stadiums that we used to play it in. And I think it'd be great now with the big stadiums that we've got, the semi-final at Tottenham or Arsenal Stadium. Or
That new, the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium, the brand new one, would be mental,
that's what I'm
wouldn't
saying.
it?
That'd be great.
Probably better than Wembley.
Of course it would, and that's the thing. And then the finals at Wembley, which is traditionally, that's how I'd see it. But I can't change the rules, mate. That's how it is. Why don't we have a neutral ground like Highbury or not Highbury or Emirates or as you say Tottenham Stadium, something like that would be better, wouldn't it? Big enough crowd, isn't it? 60,000.
You alluded to a moment ago that
then makes Wembley more special, doesn't it? The final
as a final rather than having gone there in the semi-final and just going back there for the final.
Yeah.
Exactly. Is it not quite a novelty that we get to say, we'll be back here on the whatever it is of May? Like the 10th of May or whatever.
I think it's always been special, and people say, has the FA Cup lost its speciality? Well, it hasn't. It's always there for me, but I think the reason is because of all these things that have been implemented, and one of those is actually a semi-final at Wembley. I think it's part of it. It's taken away the Wembley final that you really...
The famous Portsmouth City, and we're going to Wembley.
That's the one, yeah.
Well, you mentioned before we started chatting about those two semi-finals, you mentioned Man United.
Yep.
We also beat Man United on the 7th of April 2007, 2-1 in the league, in the Premier League as it was then for us.
At Fratton Park.
At Fratton Park. Matty Taylor.
Matty Taylor scored, yeah. I remember.
Would you? I'm going to compare two more games now, and I'd like you to draw a conclusion for me. Would you say that game was sweeter than back at Old Trafford when we beat them in the FA Cup?
No, great memories, Tom. FA Cup winning at Old Trafford, fantastic day out. Again, it's Wembley. It was the road to Wembley, wasn't it? And beating Man United at Old Trafford was much sweeter than beating them at home.
We're just having a look at some of the footage from Old Trafford in 2008, but that was February, wasn't it? I suppose that would have been one of the earlier rounds. Was it quarterfinals?
Quarterfinals, yeah.
Montari.
Yep.
78 minutes.
Penalty.
Right, it is now time to have a chat with Ollie, who is going to have a little chat with us about his thoughts on the current situation, and also he's going to tell us his favourite Fournilwrittenalloverit moment. Ollie, over to you, mate.
Good afternoon, guys. I am missing football massively. It's been really difficult not going to watch the boys and trying to represent them best I can without going to see them. I was really looking forward to, obviously, on Sunday just going to the final of the Cup. But unfortunately, these things happen. They're sent to try us. It's unprecedented time for us in this country, and we've got to hold strong. We've got to unite as a country. We've got to move forward as a country. And the one thing we can't do is let this anxiety and social distancing impact our ability. We're so fortunate at Portsmouth to have such a strong community feel. We need to stick as a community, and I'm sure we'll come out of this as a community and everything will be better off for it. In regards to me missing football, I am missing football. One of my friends is a footballer, and I've been running his training program to try and keep up, to see how difficult their training program is, because obviously it's like an off-season training program for them. And the physicality side of it, it's really tough. It's really hard. My legs don't recover for a good 2-3 days. There's a lot of fartlek running and sprinting. But no, I really enjoy keeping my touch with football by doing that, but obviously missing going to watch the games. It's difficult to say what they're going to do to finish the season. I think the only way forward is to continue it once all this is over. I mean, you can't make a decision now based on the current standings. It's not fair. There's a lot of teams out there, in the bottom three, for example, that have played the top six, and there's people just outside the bottom three that haven't played any of the top six for the second time. So, arguably there's points to be won and lost there. It's not a fair season to finish it as it is. So they can't do that. I believe there's probably too much money in football to cancel the season and just restart afresh. And I also think that'll cause too much upset for the likes of Liverpool or even the likes of us. You know, we're in line to be promoted. If everything goes well towards the end of the season, we finish strong, we should put ourselves in a really good position to either get automatics and worst case playoffs, in my opinion. So they're going to have to continue the season because of that, because of the aggrieved fans that will be. And yeah, personally, I think that's the only way to go. It will end up delaying next season, inevitably. I mean, the players, although they're off at the minute, it's not like they're able to go on holiday or do anything. It's unfair on them to finish a season and go straight back into the next season. So they're going to need some time off between those two. You got the Euros, haven't you? Which have been pushed back to 2021. So next year is already going to be very, filled with football. So that's going to impact the length of the season next year. But yeah, I don't think we'll be seeing any football until late May, really, in honesty. That's my opinion anyway. My favourite Fournilwrittenalloverit moment, so many. When we found out Alexander was negative, that was an emotional day, really, for the whole family. We always suspected it, but could never imagine that it'd be publicised and other people would realise as well how negative he really is. So yeah, I think that's a big one for me. Especially growing up with him, really tough to live around someone that negative. So the moment which we outed him on that was probably one of the best moments, and I felt relief after that happened. So yeah, that'll be it for me. There's no doubt in my mind there's only one goal in Pompey history that every Pompey fan who was there to witness it that day would pick. And that was a day against Man City, and we're in the Premier League, and we were facing relegation, staring it right down the throat. Harry was at the wheel, Pedro Mendes was on the pitch, a corner came in, got knocked out the box, Pedro takes one touch, bounces up in front of him, as it's falling, catches it on the volley, straight into the top corner for us to win 2-1. And that was the lifeline we needed to stay up that season, and that proved very important come the end of the season. But that moment for me, I just remember Fratton Park going mental, like the most mental crowd I've ever heard in my life, and it just sent shivers around your body when you were there. So for me, that's got to be it, hands down. Thank you for having me on, guys. Look forward to getting back into the season and getting back involved in one of these again. Stay strong, boys. We've got a really good community at Portsmouth, and we need to all stick together.
Thank you very much, Ollie. Cheers for that, mate. Hope you're keeping well, and we will hopefully see you very soon. Right, it is time. Oh, actually, no, before we do that, We're going to have a question that's been sent in. I just want to say, before we start answering questions, and we tried to pick ones that we hadn't already answered in the last 2 weeks. We've got about an hour's worth of us answering some of your questions and talking about some topics. So I have picked some off Instagram and some that have been sent in via messages on Facebook, Twitter, etc. I've tried to go for ones that we've maybe covered slightly but not completely, or a subject that we haven't touched on at all.
So we can't answer them all, Todd. Can't answer them all.
We can't answer them all, no, obviously, because we've only got about half an hour, 40 minutes on this. So the question from Harrison Miles has said that your top 3 favourite grounds you've been to. Thank you for your question, Harrison.
That's a tough one. I'll come back to that one, Tom, if I may, because I'm going to think them through. But,
right. Okay. Well, you've got a little bit kind of presenting to do now, mate, if you don't mind, because it is time for Andrew's best Pompey 11 ever.
My best Pompey 11 ever are going to be, Tom, the following personnel. Right, Tom, here's my best ever 11, and I'm just going to call them out rather than put them in positions, if you don't mind, because I've got Begovic in goal. Didn't play that many games for us, but what a great keeper. What a great goalkeeper he was. We moved on to Stoke pretty soon after leaving us. Distan at the back. Suhan Distan. Linvoy Primus. Noel Blake, one of my favourites. Noel Blake. Oh, mate, Linvoy and Noel Blake were two monsters at the back, and they were like, it was almost like having Frank Bruno playing for us. It was fantastic. And my favourite, Herman Hreidissen, Tom. Great character, funny guy, made the fans laugh, had a lot of fun on the pitch, and he was a good guy. And he's still around, obviously. Robert Prosinecki, mentioned him before.
Is Robert Prosinecki your all-time favourite Pompey player?
I think he probably, not in terms of the personality, in terms of his skill, for the level we were playing at that time, was fantastic. Patrick Berger, Paul Merson, great player for us. Vince Hilaire, another fantastic favourite. I'm going to cut to Vince Hilaire's interview with us there. Tom, you can have a quick look at that.
Legend, pleasure to meet you, mate. Thanks for coming on. You're going to get on the starting 11 today?
Well, the way they've started, I was holding out a little bit of hope, but the team started too well, so it looks like I'll be missing out again. Kevin McCall, he's been the kit man here for a million years.
Legend.
Another legend.
Kit man. Another legend.
Another legend. He thinks I bear a remarkable resemblance to Luther Vandross. I can't see it.
What do you think for today's game against Plymouth? Are you excited? Are you looking for a result?
Yeah, I don't think it'll be as easy as what a lot of our fans have spoken to leading up to the game. I think it's going to should be a comfortable win for Portsmouth, considering how Plymouth have started the season. But I don't see it like that. What I see it as is Plymouth not being very far behind us points-wise, which proves the season's early yet. So it's a sort of derby, if you like, but they call it a port derby. But
dockyard derby.
Dockyard derby, which I can't see. But I'm taking Portsmouth to win.
4-0, written all over.
I'd love it to be 4-0. I'd love it to be goals, but I think it'll be tighter than that. So I'm looking at 2-1.
Thank you very much, Vince.
Pleasure.
Thanks for coming on.
Enjoy the game.
Teddy Sheringham up front, Tom. Teddy, people forget Teddy. What a great player. He got us into the Premier League, Teddy, almost on his own. The Yakaboo.
Tell the story.
Fantastic. I nearly called you Yak when you were born. It was a toss-up between Tom and Yak. In the end, we decided on Tom, which actually, which unfortunately we did, because I'm going to call you Yak from now on. And Guy Whittingham, Tom. Guy Whittingham, a great player for me. And my all-time favourite is Ollie Hawkins. My all-time favourite, Tom, best player. And there's only one reason for it, and the player, everyone will know this reason. David Norris. What a strike! 92nd minute. David Norris, have it. That's it, Tom. That's my best 11. Yeah, it was David Norris Day recently as well, wasn't it? It was the anniversary, wasn't it?
When was it David Norris Day?
Last week sometime, David Norris Day, yeah.
It was David Norris Day.
We could show that clip again, Tom, just for nostalgic reasons. Pop it in.
Cool.
There it is, just there.
Thank you very much for that. That was very insightful. I think I'd probably agree. Have you seen all of those players play?
Yes.
Right.
Every single one of them.
Okay.
Every single one.
When we're in the edit, you're gonna have to tell me where these ones go, because for everyone watching, they've just appeared on the screen. So
that's all right. They'll know. People know. If you don't know, ask your dad. I'm going to go back to Liverpool. Announce the backroom. No, not that one.
This one. Top 3 favourite grounds you've been to.
Yeah, the top 3 favourite grounds. Away grounds they've got to be, haven't they? Can't put Fratton Park in there, can I?
I don't think you could have Fratton Park, and I think that's against the rules.
But if you ask me my favourite 3 football stadiums I've watched football in, Tom's Fratton Park.
Right, yeah, no, that's fair enough.
But outside of those 3 grounds, I would put in Charlton. I like going to Charlton.
Valley.
Yeah, that's a nice stadium, and always a big following there for us, and a great MK Dons. I like going there to
MK Dons is one of your top 3 favourite football grounds.
It's nice for away fans. It's wonderful.
Well, there's not a lot of atmosphere, is there?
There is an our end.
Well,
we don't worry about their end, do we?
Well,
who cares what they're singing?
It's a whole package, though, isn't it?
No, this is the package. It's all about luxury, isn't it? So I'd like MK Don Stadium as our stadium. Do you know what? If they were going to build the new Fratton Park, I would like to see it normal, like Arsenal, but give us the red, blue, and white wall behind the goal. Like Borussia Dortmund have got the wall, the yellow wall.
Would you call it Stadium Hill Z?
So the rest of the stadium could be sort of semicircular.
The Fratton Wall.
The Fratton Wall. The rest of it could be all semicircular, and our end just steeped like that.
Yeah.
Behind the goal. And then that keeps them quiet, and we're the noisy ones. That's how you get over this problem of the bowl that West Ham have got on Arsenal with no atmosphere. Like Tottenham have done it well.
Do an end. They got the biggest end in Europe or something, isn't it?
Fantastic atmosphere from there, isn't it? Just that's why they've done it, to give them that edge over there.
You wouldn't want it to be completely bowl shaped, would you? You want it to be square with corners.
That's why Tottenham have got the edge over everyone
Which
else
is a circle.
when they're playing at Tottenham, isn't it? It's funny, isn't it?
Yeah.
But that's why they're in the position they're in, Tom.
Have we got a top 3 then?
Yeah, I've done Charlton away.
Tottenham and MK.
Not Tottenham. Charlton away. It's difficult because I'm trying to work out which ones would have the atmosphere.
Villa Park.
No. I think just working out the games that you go to that give a bit of atmosphere and a bit of fun and nice to go to. You've got to balance the whole thing with atmosphere, haven't you? So Charlton is always a good one.
I'm going to go. My number 1 is Accrington Stanley.
I think that's the same for me, because it's like an Asda car park. Yeah. No.
What are your 3?
Charlton Athletic, the Valley away.
Yeah.
MK Dons, I like going there because of the because it's such a nice place to go and visit, and they always give us a lot of tickets, don't they? Which is great. There's 6,000 of us together. It's wonderful, isn't it? And
with a block to separate the lowest tier.
And
it's always a nice
the third
touch,
one, Tom, I like one of the grounds I like to go for lots of reasons, but I like to go to Blackpool away.
Because there's a tower and you always beat me.
Oh no, not because the town I always beat you, because it's a great place to go for the weekend as well. So the whole thing's and everyone's happy. It's like going on holiday, isn't it?
Isn't that every away day?
No, it's much more fun in Blackpool, isn't it? I mean, Blackpool, Scunthorpe.
There's no contest, is it?
Move on. Rochdale away? No, Blackpool, yeah.
Do you remember Morecambe's lovely?
Do you know what? Blackpool is that bad, it's good. In terms of a town.
We love you, Blackpool.
Fish and chips, B&B.
Yeah.
A stick of rock. What more could you want? Normally we get a result up there as well.
Yeah. And normally it's absolutely horrendous conditions, isn't it? It's normally November and we get told by the Coast Guard to stay away.
Last year it was...
it was August the other year, wasn't
sunny,
it?
wasn't it? Yeah.
But
it
we
wasn't
had
sunny, but it was...
The last time we went, it was November. I remember because they shut the top. We couldn't do filming up the top of the tower because they'd shut it because it was too windy.
Yeah.
Question for you from Raggett for Ballon d'Or: would you sign Raggett permanently? Now,
no, I wouldn't.
Why not?
Because I don't think he's a polished, finished article, Tom. I think he's not in the Championship. But I think he'll get slaughtered. Actually, he's okay, and he's got better in the last 3 to 4 months. But he's still not, for me, the person we need there. He's just not. It just doesn't give me the confidence that somebody like Jack Watmore gives me.
Question from Michael Connor 27. What are your goals for the future as a channel?
Just mixing with people, Tom, having fun, and
keep the entertainment
just
up.
Try and keep a little bit of fun and keeping it. People like to watch YouTube, don't they? Like to watch people's football blogs, and really, I suppose, we get into the Championship and mix with a load of new fans and see if we can bring football together a little bit. As friends in football rather than these enemies that we have in football.
And just also providing any entertainment possibly that we can for anyone overseas who might not have the chance to get to all the games. We know plenty of people, and we're in contact with loads of you that are expats from Portsea Island who sadly can't get to as many games as you'd like to anymore for various reasons. So and luckily I think we managed to get it across in the best way that we possibly can, but we will continue to do that, and the goal is to, as in the future, should we end up heading to the Championship, then we'll just keep going with what we're doing and hopefully keep providing that entertainment, and see how many times in my life I end up saying good morning to you on YouTube.
Yeah, well, I think the next question was, did Pompey, from Pompey Always, should Pompey sign another goalkeeper or stick with Craig and Bass? I thought, I don't know if I read it right, I thought we'd signed a goalkeeper in this month, haven't we? Yeah, Tom, I think the answer to that is we've already signed a new goalkeeper in the last month, a guy called Duncan Turnbull, an American guy. I'm not sure which team he came from, but I think it was...
studied accounting.
Yeah. Don't worry about that, as long as you can count how many goals he doesn't let in. How can I have a football club named after a French Parisian cathedral?
I don't know, but it's a new one to me. Notre Dame
Football Club. Well, to be fair, it rolls off the tongue. It's quite everyone's heard of them.
It's not Notre Dame. It's Notre Dame Fighting Irish (bracket University of Notre Dame bracket).
Oh, I see. Yeah, I know you're talking about that. Sorry, I didn't realise it was Notre Dame Fighting Irish. But anyway, we've got one. The answer is...
Hang on, so just to be clear, it's Notre Dame, which is a cathedral in the centre of the French capital.
Paris.
Fighting Irish, which is another country included in the name.
Fighting Irish, what is that?
Well, it's Irish.
Oh, it's Fighting Irish.
Do they actually fight Irish people?
Irish, University of Notre Dame.
So they've also got the university included there, and he's an American coming from an American football club to Pompey. He's multicultural and he's university. I'm sure someone will have got in contact already saying how silly we are and how we should know about this football club, but...
Well, everyone knows about Notre Dame Fighting Irish, University of Notre Dame
Anyway.
He's been playing for some big clubs, looks like.
Well, yeah.
So there we are, we've got a new goalkeeper.
Leanne got in touch with us. Yeah. Hi Leanne, thanks for sending in a question. She said, what is the first thing you will do when coming out of lockdown?
Go down to a pub and have a couple of pints of Doom Bar with my mate Ian.
Great.
That's definitely what I'm going to do.
Great.
and probably go to work if there's anything left there.
Leading quite nicely on from that. Pompey Dunk has got in contact with us.
Hello, Pompey Dunk.
Pompey Dunk has.
Are you not being a din and staying in? Question mark. Any away clubs hassled you for filming?
What's the answer to that question? We have been staying in, haven't we?
Yes.
Yeah, cycling once a day, and that's about it.
Cycling in the woods once a day.
Tesco.
Maybe go for a run once a day, and emergency stuff from Tesco, and that's it. Really, stay in, and let's just get through this. God, let's just get through this, man. As the Geordies would say.
Get through this, man.
Let's get through this, like.
Have any away clubs ever hassled us for filming?
Yes, Tom. We've been hassled at a number of places.
No, we haven't. That's not true.
Nearly everywhere we go, we get hassled.
No, we don't.
We've
one place
only. We got hassled for filming, and that was Doncaster Rovers. I think
it was indeed.
Doncaster Rovers away.
And would you like to tell the story, or shall I?
No, I'll tell the story because this is my story for this week, Tom.
No, that doesn't count.
So we get to Doncaster. We're filming outside. We're getting watched by these great big gorilla type stewards. Security people who were really important.
They were very
really
important.
They obviously had a good job to do, but they were very, very special people. Especially one of them, big guy.
He was very important.
He was the
senior supervisor.
Supervisor, yeah. And
he wore a hat.
Yeah, he had a hat. Yeah, and they were watching us outside filming, Tom. And then when we got inside, they searched us.
Now, hang on. Can I just say, before we got in, they were searching us, weren't they? And they one of them said to me that they've been monitoring us on CCTV.
That's right. Yeah, we've been monitoring.
We've been monitoring on CCTV. We were I'll drop it in now, but I filmed you on a playing field nearby, pretending to be a goalkeeper.
Yeah, and they were watching us on CCTV.
We also, I can't remember what the road was called, but you said, "Oh, I'm on this road," and pointing to the sign.
Yeah.
That's literally all we did outside the ground, and they'd been monitoring us because I had a camera out.
Yeah.
At the Keep Moat Stadium, no less.
Yeah.
The most.
So the secret is, don't get your camera out of the Keep Moat because they'll take it from you.
They will attempt to. Do you want to carry on from here on in? We got in.
Yeah, we got in the ground, Tom. They searched the bank, got in the ground. We were doing some filming at half time, just you and me and a few of the fans around us, just putting the bits together. And then the senior supervisor came over and demanded that you gave him your camera, and he was going to confiscate it, wasn't he?
He was.
So I told him in no uncertain terms that wasn't going to happen, and that if he really wanted the camera, it's £750, please. And that was quite funny at the time, wasn't it? We laughed, didn't we? And he wouldn't hand over the 750 quid, so I wouldn't hand over the camera, and that was that. And
can you wonder why he wanted? Because you're not actually meant to film at football grounds.
We weren't filming where we were just entertaining ourselves.
Doing the half-time interviews, weren't we? We're not breaking any rules.
We're not EFL camera crew, are we? We're just sort of we're not Sky News. We're just having a bit of fun. So, Tom, there's a lot of in the old days, a lot of violence in football, a lot of problems in football, and a lot of that was instigated by too much police around and too many people wanting to be the boss. The security people being a bit bullish. They should go relax and chill, take a chill, be smart. A lot of places we've been happy, smiling, good good-natured. Security people that enjoy and warm, even the police officers. Away at Luton, remember that? We were kicking a ball around outside and kicked it up in the air, and the police officer was kicking it back, and we were having a bit of fun with them. That's what it's all about, everyone just enjoying themselves.
We have never had it anywhere else apart from Doncaster, isn't it? Which is really strange how it should happen like that, but
that's life.
There we are.
We move on. So it's a bit negative,
any Doncaster fans watching, that's no reflection on you. I'm sure everyone's lovely, but just from our personal experience, it wasn't.
Somebody asked a question, and so we gave you the answer.
Absolutely. Right. We've got one more question from BPFC_vlogs. Thank you very much for your question. He's asked, who is your favourite football vlogger? I reckon I'm going to answer that question, aren't I? Yeah. I don't want to miss anyone out, obviously, because we've made quite a lot of friends over the time on Fournilwrittenalloverit. This is a very small list of those. They're not necessarily ones that we've met and spoken to and interviewed. Quite a few of them are, but a couple of them I subscribe to, basically, and I enjoy their content. I remember these. I don't want to say, we were the first to do it, because we absolutely weren't, but when we started, I feel like it was quite a unique thing with the pots of pepper that we used to pretend were microphones, and it was a long time ago when we started doing that. But the what's the word?
When the first ever one was. When was it? 6 years, 5 years?
It was the season before we started uploading them to YouTube, because I called it Super Saturday, was what I used to call it.
Yeah.
And I spent a season, it was always away games that we did it. I remember the first one that sticks out to me was Burton Albion at home. I remember doing that one. I remember that was probably one of the first times when we actually filmed it.
Dagenham and Redbridge was...
That was the first one that was on YouTube, wasn't it? But we did it for a season before that. So
yeah,
it was
didn't load it up for a while,
No,
did you?
it was the 2014-15 season that we first started doing them, when I was about 2 years old.
And you got excited when you got like 22 views.
Oh yeah, it was big. It was big back in the day. But I'm not saying in any way that we are any sort of pioneer in this field. But the kind of, I don't know, the way that it's developed today, football vlogging is very different to what we started out doing, basically. But big shout outs go to Alex Griffin, who is a top bloke, and he's a massive Ipswich fan. He's been doing it for many years actually, but he's kind of he's growing, and he's kind of, unfortunately, the old coronavirus got in when he was just about to really start growing, I think, with the content he was creating. So but big shout out to Alex. He's a good friend of ours. Ben from Cod's Vlogs, Nappers, I think, FTFC Nappers, he's another good guy. We spoke.
Nice lad, yeah.
So he came down all the way with I think it was like 60 other Fleetwood fans on that Tuesday night. It was cold, it was horrible, it was freezing cold actually that night, and he waited outside the ground for us to have an interview. So that was great. And I like his videos as well. He's got a lot going for him. He's a really good lad, and I hope he moves on to big things in the future.
He was quite excited about coming to England, wasn't he?
He was very excited. Blue Tube's another one. He's an Ipswich vlogger, and he does a lot on his channel. I think he did a podcast a couple of weeks ago actually, which was quite good to see. But Blue Tube, we're big fans of Blue Tube, aren't we? We've first met him at the Ipswich game, and he's another one that's going on to big things. So he's going to keep at it and keep making his content. Cyber was another one that we met at the Ipswich game. I haven't actually seen much more content from him, but I know he is still making the videos. Smithy Boy at Rotherham is another good one, and Ramos from Blackpool. That is a short list. There's plenty more out there. There's plenty more Pompey fans doing their own vlogs as well. So there's loads, which is great, isn't it? It's diversity kind of content wise, so that's all good. So there's a short list for you. If I did miss anyone out, I'm sorry, but
pick them up next week.
But we'll give you a mention next week. Andrew, it is time for the moment we've all been waiting for.
The story this week is I get to Southampton Airport and I'm getting a flight to Newcastle 6 a.m. in the morning, so I booked my car in overnight in the garage there, in the parking place in Southampton Airport, and I got the early morning Flybe flight to Newcastle. I stayed overnight and then came back the next day. Anyway, so when I got back, went up to Newcastle, all good, did the business, stayed overnight in a hotel, got the flight back the next evening's 8 o'clock flight back, which got us back about just before 9, I think, 50 minutes or so. But the flight was delayed by 2 hours, Tom, so I was sat in Newcastle Airport thinking, my ticket's going to run out on the car, because I've only got it for 24 hours, so 36 hours, so the ticket's going to run out on my car at the airport. But anyway, that's life. I thought, well, I'll get back and see what happens. So the flight was delayed, so I thought, well, they'll give some leeway, because the flight was
they must do, because it's delayed, yeah.
So anyway, I get back to the airport, go through the terminal, check in, get my bags, go back to the car park, get the car, drive to the exit, and Gary won't let me out. So I thought, oh no, I don't need this at 1 a.m. in the morning. So I get out of the car, there's not many people around that time, obviously it's a small airport. Look across and I see a little guy in a kiosk. So I walk back to the kiosk and I said, I'm sorry, I can't get out the gate because I can't. There's two guys in this kiosk. And I said, the car's been booked in, but I paid for 36 hours and it's gone over that because the flight was delayed by 2 hours. So it's an hour and a half late, so could you let me out? And he went, 36 quid, please. Oh, you're having a laugh, aren't you? 36 quid. He went, yep, can't do anything about it, mate, 36 quid. So I said, okay, I'll go and get my wallet. So I went back to the car to get the wallet, came back. By the time I got back there, this guy that I was talking to had moved across to another desk, and this other guy was there. So I said, could you, I was a bit fed up, because it's 1 in the morning.
Can imagine.
Yeah, I was a bit fed up. It was 1 in the morning, and I just wanted to get home, Tom. I'd had enough. I just wanted to pay the money and get home. So I opened my wallet to get my credit card out, and inside my wallet, as you well know, is my season ticket sticking out like that. And so I got my wallet out, went to pay for it, and this guy goes, "Are you a Pompey fan?" I went,
in the middle of Southampton Airport.
and I'm thinking, 1 a.m. in the morning, I don't need you to give me a load of verbal. I do not need this at 1 a.m. in the morning, having the trip I've had. So yes, I am, as it goes, yes. And he said, "Where'd you sit?" I went, "Well, what's it got to do with you?" And he went, "Where'd you sit?" I went, "South Stand, upper, F1, 2 and 3. He went, "Oh, I sit in SD2. Just down it." He said, "You're a Pompey fan?" He said, "Yeah." I said, "Oh, I need a happy, smiling face at this time of the morning like that." And he laughed, and I laughed, and he went, I said, "Look, I'll come to pay. I've got to pay because I've got to get out, mate. So I want to go and get my way. We'll catch up some other time." And he went, "Yeah, there's no problem, mate." He said, "Don't worry about it. Jump in your car, just drive to the barrier. I'll let you out." I went, "I haven't paid." He went, "Don't worry about that, mate."
Oh, nice one.
So I said, "Thanks, buddy."
That's good, isn't it?
He said, "Play out Pompey." I went, "Play out Pompey." Drove to the gate, Tom. Put my thumb up. He's opened the barrier, and out I went.
Brilliant.
That's Pompey fans looking after Pompey fans.
Yep, and there's plenty more where that came from. We've got weeks and weeks of stories to look forward to. Yeah. Perhaps we don't know how long we'll be.
But if someone else has got a good one, send it in.
Well, send in a story of your own. Yeah, we'll open the floor. Yeah. Send it in for next week. Thank you, mate, as always, for joining me this week, and thanks to all our guests that have joined us. Are you doing the? Yeah, okay. Thanks to all our guests that have joined us this week. It's been quite a jam-packed one for you this week. We hope you've enjoyed it, and we will see you this time next weekend. Easter will have passed us. We will have new news on whether the quarantine and the lockdown has been extended or not. But for now, we'll keep the content up for you. We'll keep you, hopefully, keep you sane during these weeks of lockdown. Thanks again to Andrew for joining me. We look forward to your story next week, mate. What are we going to chat next week? What's the plan?
Lots to see next week, Tom. Wait and see.
Wait and see. We've got to wait and see. Thanks for joining us. Keep the faith and stay safe.
Stay safe. Play out Pompey.
Play out Pompey.
Go south. There's a team down there. Go south with a lot of flair. Go south. They're gonna take us there.